Part 1. Amor Fati. Love Your Fate. Welcome to Shadow Psychology. You stand at the edge of a profound transformation, a journey into the deepest alchemy of the human psyche. For too long, you've been taught that trauma is a wound, a weakness, a permanent scar that defines your limitations. Society, psychology, and well-meaning experts have instructed you to process your pain, to manage your suffering, to cope with your past. This is the language of the herd, the whimper of those who have accepted defeat. Today, we initiate a dangerous and glorious rebellion. We reject the paradigm of the wounded victim and embrace the philosophy of the sovereign alchemist. We begin with the most powerful and misunderstood of Nietzsche's concepts, Amor Fati, the unconditional love of one's fate. This is not passive acceptance. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is not the weak consolation of everything happens for a reason. This is an active, willed, ecstatic embrace of every moment of your existence, the joy and the agony, the triumph and the trauma as necessary, perfect, and fundamental to who you are destined to become. Your trauma is not a mistake. It is not a punishment. It is the raw, unrefined ore of your future strength. The first step in the alchemical process is to stop fighting the material you have been given. You must pick up the very thing that hurts you and see it not as a burden, but as your primary ingredient for greatness. The common approach to healing is a form of war. You are at war with your past, at war with the people who hurt you, at war with your own emotions. This war drains your energy and keeps you trapped in the identity of the victim. Amor Fati is the white flag that signals not surrender, but the end of the conflict. It is the decision to declare, "This happened, it is part of my story, and I choose to love it because it is mine." This is the ultimate act of sovereignty, taking ownership of your entire narrative, without exception. When you love your fate, you disarm the past. The memory loses its power to trigger you, because you have integrated it into the tapestry of your being. It is no longer a foreign invader. It is a part of the landscape. The practical application begins with a simple but profound shift in language. You must eradicate the phrase, "I wish that hadn't happened," from your internal vocabulary. Every time you hear that whisper, you must consciously counter it with the mantra of the alchemist. "I am grateful this happened, for it is making me who I am meant to be." This is not about feeling grateful for the pain itself, but for the strength, the depth, the clarity that is forged in its fire. This is cognitive reframing at the most fundamental level. You are not changing the facts. You are changing their meaning. You are performing a linguistic and psychological operation that transmutes lead into gold. The next stage is the practice of radical consent. This is an active meditation where you sit with the memory of your trauma, and instead of resisting it, you consciously and deliberately consent to it. You say to the universe, "Yes, I will this event. I will it exactly as it occurred." Feel the resistance this creates. Feel the rebellion in your soul, and then push through it. Consciously relax your body and your mind into a state of acceptance. This practice creates a neural pathway that bypasses the fight or flight response and builds a new association with the memory. One of calm ownership rather than panicked resistance. This is how you drain the emotional charge from the past. You are not a prisoner of what happened to you. You are the curator of what it means. From this place of radical acceptance, you can begin the work of narrative reclamation. Your current story about your trauma was likely written by the wounded part of you. It is a story of powerlessness, of injustice, of damage. You must become the author of a new story. Write it down. In this new story, the trauma is not the climax. It is the inciting incident. It is the call to adventure that forced you to leave the ordinary world and embark on the hero's journey. It is the catalyst that shattered your naive illusions and forced you to develop profound strength, wisdom, and compassion. In this new story, you are not the victim. You are the hero who endured the ordeal and emerged transformed. This is not denial. It is a more truthful and empowering interpretation of the same events. It focuses on the growth, not the injury. Amor Fati is the foundation upon which all other mental alchemy is built. Without this complete and total acceptance of your raw material, any attempt at transformation will be superficial. You must first love the clay before you can sculpt the masterpiece. This is the end of the beginning, the death of your resistance and the birth of your power. The weak run from their pain. The alchemists use it as fuel. If you're ready to learn how to forge your suffering into unbreakable strength, subscribe now. The most dangerous transmutations are yet to come. Part 2. The Will to Power as Medicine. You have taken the first crucial step. You've stopped fighting your past and have begun to see your trauma as the raw material of your transformation through Amor Fati. But acceptance alone is not enough. A sculptor who loves his block of marble still must strike it with a chisel. Now we move from passive acceptance to active transmutation. This is where your will to power becomes the essential tool. The common misunderstanding is that the will to power is about dominating others. In the context of healing, it is the exact opposite. It is the drive to gain complete mastery over your internal world, to command your psyche, to direct your energy, and to impose order upon the chaos of your pain. Your trauma has, until now, held power over you. It dictated your emotional states, your limitations, your fears. The alchemical process is about seizing that power back. You will stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start commanding, "How will I use this to become stronger?" The practical methodology is what we can call pain reframing. Every time a painful memory or a triggered emotion surfaces, you must consciously perform a mental pivot. Instead of being swept away by the feeling, you pause and ask, what strength is this pain demanding I develop? What depth is it forcing me to discover? A memory of betrayal can become the gym where you build the muscle of self-reliance. An experience of loss can become the forge where you temper your emotional resilience. You are not denying the pain. You are changing its function in your life. It is no longer a signal of damage, but a call to build greater internal fortitude. This is the will to power in action. Taking a force that was working against you and harnessing it to work for you. This leads to the practice of energetic alchemy. Trauma often leaves us feeling drained, our vital energy sapped by the constant effort of suppression and avoidance. The sovereign individual learns to reverse this flow. Sit with the physical sensation of your emotional pain, the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach. Instead of tensing against it, breathe into it. Visualize that sensation not as toxic energy, but as concentrated, unrefined power. With each inhale, imagine you are drawing this raw power into your core. With each exhale, imagine you are refining it and distributing it as pure, usable strength throughout your body. You are literally alchemizing the somatic residue of trauma into fuel for your will. This is not a metaphor, it is a neurological rewiring. You are teaching your nervous system a new response, breaking the ancient chain that links a memory to a collapse of personal power. The will to power, therefore, is the engine of your healing. It is the relentless, forward-driving force that refuses to be defined by what was done to you and instead insists on creating who you are becoming. You are no longer a patient trying to cure a disease. You are an alchemist transmuting base metal into gold. Most people spend their lives running from their demons. The alchemist learns to make them work in the forge. The final keys to mastering this forge are ahead. If you're not subscribed, you are choosing to remain an apprentice. Part 3. Eternal Recurrence as Therapy. With the foundation of Amor Fati laid and your will to power activated, we now introduce the ultimate philosophical tool for mental alchemy, the eternal recurrence. Imagine that demon's whisper, every pain, every joy, every moment of your life, including your deepest trauma, will repeat infinitely, exactly as it occurred. This thought experiment is not a metaphysical proposition, but the most potent psychological test for integration. Would you crumble under the weight of eternally reliving your suffering? Or would you find a way to transform its meaning so completely that you could bear its eternal return? This is the crucible where your transformation is tested and sealed. The practice begins with conscious recurrence. Choose one specific memory of suffering. Instead of avoiding it, deliberately invite it back. Sit with it and ask, if I had to live this moment infinitely, what meaning would I need to assign to it to not go mad? What strength would I have to discover in myself to endure its eternal return? This question forces a profound shift. You are no longer a passive victim of a past event, but an active author of its eternal significance. The memory must be reframed not as a standalone tragedy, but as an essential note in the symphony of your becoming, a note that gives depth and contrast to the entire composition. This leads to the dramatization method. Replay the traumatic memory in your mind, but this time, edit the narrative. Visualize yourself not as you were then, frightened, overwhelmed, but as you are now, the alchemist, the sovereign. See yourself standing within the memory with calm eyes, radiating acceptance and understanding. Watch as the pain loses its sharp edges, becoming simply experience. This mental rehearsal creates new neural pathways, divorcing the memory from its associated helplessness and reassociating it with your present strength. The eternal recurrence, therefore, becomes the ultimate tool for existential validation. If you can will the eternal return of your deepest wound, you have successfully transmuted it. It has become a part of you that you not only accept but embrace as necessary. This is the final stage of integration, where the trauma is no longer a foreign entity but a fully digested, empowering part of your history. You have not healed in the conventional sense. You have evolved beyond the need for healing. The scar remains, but it is now a mark of initiation, a testament to your ability to transform poison into medicine. The past only has the power you give it. Most give it eternity. The alchemist gives it new meaning. The final stage of this transformation forging, your new identity, awaits. Don't miss the conclusion. Part 4. The Übermensch as Therapeutic Ideal. You have loved your fate, harnessed your will, and transformed your past through the lens of eternity. Now, we arrive at the creative pinnacle of mental alchemy, forging your post-traumatic identity. Conventional therapy aims to return you to a pre-trauma normalcy. This is a poverty of imagination, the goal of the last man. Nietzsche offers a far more audacious vision, not to recover who you were, but to create who you must become. The Übermensch is not a fixed being, but a perpetual process of self-overcoming, and your trauma is the ultimate catalyst for this becoming. Your old self was shattered. Good. That person was not strong enough to bear the weight of your destiny. Now, you have the rare opportunity to build a new self from the foundation up, consciously and deliberately. This begins with conscious self-sculpture. Ask yourself, what qualities would the version of me that gratefully incorporates this trauma possess? This person would likely have profound resilience, deep empathy for suffering, unwavering self-reliance, and the courage to set boundaries. These are not abstract virtues. They are the direct alloys forged in the fire of your experience. Your task is to systematically cultivate these specific traits. Every day you must ask, what would the stronger version of me do in this situation, and then act accordingly. You are not healing, you are upgrading your operating system. Next, you must author your personal mythos. Every culture has creation myths involving chaos, struggle, and triumph. You now have yours. Write down your new origin story. In this story, the trauma is the dark forest you had to enter to find your true power. It is the necessary ordeal that killed the naive child and initiated the sovereign. This is not a lie. It is a deeper truth that focuses on the meaning and the outcome, not just the pain. Repeat this story to yourself until it becomes your psychological reality. You are the hero who endured, not the victim who was wounded. Finally, embrace redemptive action. The highest form of alchemy is to use your transformed pain to alleviate the suffering of others. This is not about pity, but about shared strength. Mentor someone who is lost in the same darkness you escaped. Create art that expresses the beauty you found in the breakdown. Build something that could only have been built by someone who has faced the abyss and returned. This completes the cycle. The pain that was inflicted upon you is now recycled into power that you project into the world. You have not just survived your trauma, you have weaponized it for a higher purpose. The scar is no longer a wound, it is a badge of honor. The transformation is nearly complete. The final step is to make this new identity permanent, to turn philosophy into physiology. The ultimate integration protocol is next. Part 5. The Daily Alchemy. Integration Protocol. The philosophical work is complete. You have loved your fate, wielded your will, reframed your eternity, and forged a new identity. Now, we crystallize these insights into a sustainable daily alchemy practice. Enlightenment that cannot be lived is mere entertainment. Sovereignty that falters at dawn is an illusion. Here, we build the rituals that make your transformation permanent, turning profound philosophy into unshakable physiology. Begin with your morning crucible. The first 5 minutes of consciousness are sacred. Before checking your phone, before engaging the world, lie in silence and declare, I gratefully accept everything this day will bring. Every challenge is fuel for my growth. Every interaction is material for my art. This is Amor Fati in action, setting your psychological compass toward acceptance before the day's storms can blow you off course. Follow this with 1 minute of vividly recalling your transformed origin story, not as a painful memory, but as the foundation of your current strength. Implement trigger alchemy. Throughout your day, when old pains or fears are triggered, don't suppress them. Pause. See them as unexpected deliveries of raw material. Breathe deeply and mentally recite, this feeling is unrefined power. I now transmute it into, and consciously choose the quality you need most in that moment: calmness, focus, or compassion. Visualize the trigger's energy transforming inside you, like dark smoke becoming clear light. This turns vulnerabilities into moments of empowerment. Your evening forge closes the cycle. Spend 5 minutes reviewing your day. Where did you act as the Übermensch? Where did you fall back into old patterns? Without judgment, analyze. How could I have alchemized that situation better? Then, release the day. Write down one lesson your trauma taught you that you applied today. This isn't dwelling on the past. It's harvesting its wisdom. This triad of practices, morning crucible, trigger alchemy, evening forge, creates a self-reinforcing system. You are no longer healing. You are engaged in the ongoing art of self-metallurgy, continually tempering your character in the fires of daily life. Your trauma is no longer your master, your therapist, or your wound. It has become your most loyal teacher, your toughest trainer, and the source of your unique authority. The alchemy is complete. The philosopher has become the blacksmith. The past has become the tool. You are not a survivor, you are a sovereign. The transformation is yours to keep.